Alright, today we're going to talk about my recipe for smoothies for a meal replacement. Now, when I tell people that I put raw eggs in my smoothies, it kind of makes them think that it's going to taste gross. Number one, I promise you that you won't even be able to tell that it's in it. I've worked on this recipe for a long time, and you can try it on yourself, try it on your kids if you feel comfortable doing that, and you can't tell that there's raw egg in it. It's pretty good. Second thing is the quality of the egg that you choose is very important when you're eating raw eggs. I use Eggland's Best. It's just because it is a vegetarian fed diet, so there's no grains in their diet, and it doesn't have omega-6 fatty acids in it. It's omega-3 fatty acid. It's anti-inflammatory, and the quality of the egg is very consistent. You can open the box every time. I've never opened I'm sure people have before, but I've bought a lot of Eggland's Best. I've never opened a box and seen a cracked, dirty egg or a partially hatched chick in one of their eggs, and that's something you have to look at when you're eating raw eggs. You need to look at the color of the shell, make sure the shells are consistently colored, look for gray spots, dark spots. It should be consistent throughout. There should be no one spot on an egg. If there's going to be spots on it, it should be consistent throughout. And like what I mean by that is different shades and colors. You look at the outside of the egg and make sure you don't see any dried egg material, like there's a broken egg on it and then it stuck to it. It should be relatively clean. And Eggland's Best puts a stamp on every one of their eggs. That's not necessary, but I like their attention to quality. It's very consistent. And typically when you look at Eggland's Best eggs, you'll always see the same size embryos in them, and they're less than a day old embryos before they're frozen. If an egg is dropped into a cage for a hen and it's not picked up that day, the embryo will grow. And when it grows, it'll enlarge, and you'll see the difference in the size when you go to eat it. So one of the important things to do is take your eggs. I recommend 2 eggs per serving. Just take them and crack them open and look at them. Try not to drop the shells in. And this is what you want to look for. You want to look for a bright yellow color, and you can see the embryo right there and right there. Those two right there are about the same size, and that's the size they should be, about the size of a dime. They shouldn't be any larger than that, otherwise you know it was in there too long. There shouldn't be any blood in the egg. There shouldn't be any red in the egg. If it is red or bloody, throw it out. It's probably not been picked up on the first day that the egg was laid, so you don't want to eat that. So that's an excellent source of protein. It's hard to get grass-fed beef these days at a regular grocery store. You can pick this up at Walmart. So it's convenient and easy, and it's a good source of protein. So I use a blender that has a little notch cut in the side of it, especially for smoothies, so you can mix it around. I don't put the attachment on the side here because it creates an extra thing that you have to clean in another place where you can get growth of bacteria and things that you don't want, algae, mold, things like that. It's difficult to clean the inside of a dispenser like this, so I choose not to install it. So start off with 2 eggs per serving. You can make more than 1 serving in there. Tablespoon of olive oil. I've been doing this a long time, so I don't take and measure it with a tablespoon. I pour out about as much as I need. The reason I put olive oil in there is it's anti-inflammatory too, but also there's some vitamins and minerals that cannot be absorbed into your gut unless they're in the presence of fat. So basically, if you take a mineral supplement, like if you try to get your calcium from drinking milk, unless there's equal proportions of magnesium and vitamin D, you're not going to get any calcium from that milk. So it's important to have the fat in the presence of the minerals so that it can be absorbed into the fat and then absorbed into the gut. It also helps give a nice texture and flavor to the smoothie. I don't add any dairy product to my smoothies. No milk, no cream, anything like that. Yogurt is a dairy product, and egg are a dairy product, but they're a different type of dairy product. They're not a product of milk that are fed hormone cows and antibiotics. Same with the eggs. These eggs, Eggland's Best, are antibiotic free and hormone free. Now the Dannon is a non-GMO. If you look at the ingredients, it's very easy to see. It's not full of a bunch of artificial sweeteners. You can ruin a healthy smoothie by putting a bunch of junk in the yogurt. So you don't want a whole bunch of things you can't pronounce in it. This is just cultured grade A reduced fat milk, sugar, natural vanilla flavor, and pectin. So this is basically just, bacteria. That's what a yogurt culture is. That's grown on the milk, and then that's it. They don't add a bunch of stuff to it. And this is a good product here, the Dannon All Natural. It's easy to find. So, 4 tablespoons of that per serving. And that's the basic beginning part of the smoothie, and you can add to that what you want. Now, there's 2 different steps you can go from here. You can either add the juice or you can add the pulp. Now, I like to mix the juice and the pulp. It's a little bit of extra money, requires an extra step. I have a Jack LaLanne power juicer here. What this does is it spins on the inside some fine teeth metal compressor. And what it does is it compresses down the objects you put in there and pushes them into a strainer and then cuts it at the same time. And then in the back side of it, I'll hold it so you can see it here, it catches what is not made into juice and throws it out the back, and you get just the pure juice extract. Now, why that's important is because in a cell plant, like if you have a leaf of kale lettuce, for example, the only way you can get the nutrients out of the leaf of lettuce are by breaking open the cell wall, and every cell wall has to be broken open to get every nutrient out of it. That's a lot of chewing that most people just don't do. It's hard on your teeth, hard on your jaw, and it can cause headaches, and most people just chew a few times and swallow, and you miss most of the nutrients. It goes in one end, never gets opened up. You don't have the enzymes in your body, and the acid in your stomach is not strong enough to break open the type of cell wall that you find in lettuce. So the object is to get the most nutrients out of this as possible, so we use a juicer. Now, for the size of a portion to add to this, I recommend using a fist. Now, what I'm doing here, this is fresh kale from the grocery store. This would be a fistful right here. So you take one of these, put it in the top of the juicer. That's one serving. Now, you put the lettuce and the leafy greens like broccoli, peas, snaps, squash, peppers at the bottom level because it's very thick, and what's going to happen is if you just run that through by itself, it's just going to stick to the wall inside there and it's not going to come out. So you want to put something juicy afterwards, like you can use a lemon, an apple, carrots, something really juicy afterwards. But I'm going to do 2 types of greens today. I'm going to add some broccoli to the kale. I'm just going to break this off. Wherever it breaks off is where it's soft. There's really no nutrition in this part right here. I mean, there's a little bit in the outside, but the color of a vegetable represents the minerals and the vegetables that are in it. This is the part you want here. So we'll put that in with the kale. I'm just going to slap a lemon and an apple on top of that. And you put them in whole. Bear with the noise for a moment. Here comes the juice. That's the good stuff. That's the stuff you want. That's how green the kale comes out. There's the broccoli. And we're starting in on the lemon. There's the lemon. And here comes the apple to wash it all down. Now, this is what we're after right here. Now this is a super vitamin packed excellent meal. It's easy to absorb. It's not processed. It's not chemically affected by materials that are put on it, so it's not going to be toxic to you. So you can add this straight into the smoothie just like so. Now if you don't have a juicer, you can skip that step and add some of the ultra clear protein, the GMP certified vitamin nutrition stuff. This has those vitamins in it, and it can take place of the eggs, but I like this better. So you put this on the blender and just mix it up a little bit. Now you can drink it just like that, but I like to make it more of a blended smoothie for flavor. So today we're going to add some strawberries. You can just pluck the tops off and throw the thing in whole. About a handful will do it right. The lemon is a little bit tart, so we want to cover that up with some natural sugar. You could use different things here. For the part where we use the apple and the lemon, you can use different things. You can use mangoes, you can use oranges, carrots, pomegranate. Watermelon's a great one, melon, cantaloupe, those are all great fillers. Some of those you can also use for the blended fruit too. They don't taste bad when you blend it in. But here's a nice handful of strawberries. We're just going to drop it in. And then we'll add some ice. Now a couple handfuls will do the trick. And there you have it. You don't want to put too much ice in there. You get an ice cream headache. It makes it difficult to eat, but it adds a little bit of thickness to it. Adds a nice chill to it. It's pretty decent. There you have it.